So then, before we even get into this video, if you are someone who visits theme parks quite a lot of these tips you will have already discovered yourself, so you probably won't use a lot of these. But I was talking to someone the other day who I'm planning to go to a theme park with. They were asking how we can make the most of our day, told them of these tips, and I was made aware that they'd never heard of a lot of these things. So I thought, why not make a video just in case you didn't know? Because these things that I adopt when visiting Alton Towers have helped humongously in getting on everything in one day and not feeling rushed while doing it. So then, the first thing that I would recommend when visiting Alton Towers is be the first there and the last to leave. There is so much of a difference you can make here. With being the first at the park, you are already through security, you are waiting at those turnstiles for park open. They will sometimes open the park a little bit early from when I've been there. There's been times when they haven't, but from what I've heard from other people, it's a common occurrence and it's very regular. They open the turnstiles a bit early just to reduce the traffic, getting people into the park. And although the rides won't open until park open, you're already outside the entrance. Even if they don't open the turnstiles early, you're there waiting to go. You'll be within the first few people in that park, meaning you won't be queuing for the first ride. That's one ride down instantly. And the great thing about leaving last is the amount of people who leave an hour before close or go to the gift shop an hour and a half before close. You wouldn't believe. I can't think of a Towers trip where I haven't done at least 3 extra re-rides in the last 2 hours, 1 hour of the day, just because the park's so dead then. It's a really odd occurrence. Same when it rains. If it rains for like 5 minutes at Towers, because it does every time I go there, I think there's some form of weather god who just hates me visiting Towers. But when I go there, if it rains for 5 minutes towards the end of the day, stick it out, go get a coffee, sit inside, see if it subsides, because if it does, the likelihood is the rides will reopen again. They're dead. You can get on so many. It's a great thing that I've used and it works every single time. Second thing ties into the first thing quite well. So if you are the first in or when you're first going into that park, there are 2 rides that I would recommend going straight for, because I think that they don't get big queues or small queues, they just seem to be quite consistent throughout the whole day. Now, most people say Nemesis and Galactica, which for this video's release, when you do get into open season and going into the parks again, Nemesis won't be there. So because of this, I'll be honest, I'm predicting that Galactica isn't going to be as quiet as people are used to, just because the entire area is going to be relying on that one coaster and some flats, but that's about it. So I'll be honest, I think your best bet, or what I'm going to be doing, go straight to Dark Forest, go straight towards Rita and 13, because 13 gets quite a consistently long queue from when I've been there. Some people may disagree, but from what I've seen, 13 of all of them, depending on the busyness of the park on that day, but it's always quite consistently long. So go straight there, get 13 and Rita done, head up to Galactica, get that area done. That way you're doing it in an order. By the way, the best thing to do here, add structure to your day before you go, sort of think about an order, which is what this does. Getting those 2 rides out of the way, I really think helps every time I do that. And it seems to really help with getting through rides, because I'm just going to say, most people head for Smile and Oblivion. Those rides are going to have long queues all day. Even if you're the first in, you would be so surprised at how quick the Smile will go from 0 to 60 minutes. It's ridiculous, honestly. It's just incredible how quick that ride's queue grows. The last tip is something that, until I tried it, I thought, oh, I don't want to do it, it'll feel rushed. But, so I've just said, Smile has always got a consistently long queue. It can reach 120 minutes sometimes. Why not eat while you're in that queue? It's something that I thought I'd feel rushed doing it, but you've got 2 hours. If you buy lunch, head into the queue, I can guarantee you it would have settled by the time you get on the ride. I'm quite a worrier of a person. I went to the roller coaster restaurant on the first ever time I went to Scarefest, went on the Smiler, and I was terrified, not because I was scared of the ride, but that I would throw up, which that was 40 minutes before going on the Smiler. So if you were eating as you're getting in the queue, by the time you get to the ride, it will have settled, trust me. You'll be fine. And it also means that you won't be spending that time eating off rides, because you get that lunchtime curve of everyone going getting lunch. If you head just before the lunchtime curve into one of the rides, eat while you're in the queue. Once you're off of it, you've already eaten, you can make it straight to the next ride. Next thing that I would recommend doing is, see, this is for people who haven't been to Towers. This video is more catered towards them. So if you're an enthusiast and you've been loads, I'm sorry, I'm probably wasting your time a bit here. You probably know loads of these. But if you didn't know, Alton Towers is huge. And it's something that when I first went, I was quite naive to. I'd heard people say it's massive, but I just sort of went right over my head. But then if I would have listened, it would have helped quite a lot, because when you're at a park like Towers, structuring where you're going in the day, although it seems quite tedious and pointless, it will mean you get on so much more. And because Towers is so huge, you're looking at quite a considerable walk to get from ride to ride to ride to ride. And trust me, no matter what after visiting Towers, you're going to be knackered from all the walking. But why not set yourself up a bit, structure going on rides near certain areas at a time, so you're not having to walk massive distances by going from Galactica down to Oblivion, then back up because someone wants to do the Blade, then back down for Oblivion, then across. It just it's a bloody nightmare. And trust me, that has happened when I've visited with people before. And you've had if you would have said we could have done that ride 40 minutes ago, but it's something to consider before visiting. The last thing that I would recommend looking into before you go into the park is if you are going by yourself or you're going with a group of people, but you know that either you don't mind riding rides separately or you have rides that you want to go on individually, but your group doesn't want to, look into single rider queues. It was something that I was quite hesitant to use because I'm very antisocial. It was something that I was quite hesitant to use, but it saves you so much time. I only used it for the first time in Florida, actually, because I wanted to go on Hagrid's. None of my family could be bothered to queue 3 hours, I think it was that. Used a single rider. And since then, it has changed my outlook on it. It's such a good thing to utilise if you just want to get on that ride, if you don't even care about sitting with your mates. Because I've been there at Towers with one of my friends. We've been on the Smiler enough. Sitting together isn't a big thing. Went on single rider. In the time that we could have queued to go on it normally, I think we had 3 rides just continuously lapping the single rider queue. So consider it, because it really does save you that much time and will mean that you're going through that park so much quicker. So then these are a few things you can use to utilise your day at Towers. If this was pointless to you, I'm sorry, these were quite, I guess, things that some people would just know off the top of their head from going to the park. I've just sort of made this for people who didn't know. It's always worth listening to things, seeing if something you didn't know was on this list. You can try it. I hope they all work. If they don't, I'm really sorry. I probably wasted your time tremendously here. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.